Did you know that in 2011 an entire family vanished on Route 59 and left behind one of the strangest missing persons cases in American history? For 12 years, investigators found absolutely nothing until one man suddenly returned, claiming to be the father who disappeared that night. What he said happened during those missing years is something no detective has ever been able to explain. On the night of November 18, 2011, the Carter family was driving home after celebrating their daughter's 10th birthday. The father, 39-year-old David Carter, was behind the wheel. His wife Laura sat beside him, and their children, Emma and Jacob, were asleep in the back seat. The drive along Route 59 was quiet and uneventful, nothing unusual, nothing suspicious. At 9:43 p.m., a state trooper's dashcam captured their SUV passing mile marker 227. Everything looked normal, but exactly 3 minutes later, a truck driver behind them noticed the SUV drifting toward the shoulder, then turning onto an old service road. The driver thought maybe they had car trouble or needed to pull over, but according to his statement, the family's SUV didn't slow down. It turned onto the service road almost deliberately, and then disappeared behind the tree line. When officers arrived, they expected to find the vehicle pulled over or stuck. Instead, they found nothing. The road was empty, quiet, and looked unused, almost abandoned. When they walked further in, it only got stranger. There were no fresh tire tracks, no footprints, no disturbed soil or branches. It was as if the family had never driven onto the road at all. The strangest part came when the Department of Transportation checked records for the area. The service road the trucker claimed he saw had been officially removed in 1998. It was no longer on any map, any GPS, or any state document. In fact, according to state engineers, the road shouldn't have been physically visible at all. Yet multiple witnesses insisted it was there that night. A massive search began. Dozens of officers, volunteers, and federal agents combed the forest. Helicopters scanned from above. Drones were deployed. Specialized cadaver dogs were brought in. Investigators scoured highways, back roads, and the dense woods surrounding Route 59. Nothing. There were no signs of the SUV, no personal belongings, no debris, no evidence of an accident. Nothing. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and months slowly into years. The Carter family's disappearance became another cold case, one with too many questions and not a single answer. For 12 years, there was silence. Until July 8, 2023. At 2:19 a.m., a barefoot man walked into a gas station in the rural town of Havensbrook. His clothes were shredded and covered in dirt. His skin was pale, dehydrated, and scratched as if he had run through miles of forest. He didn't seem to know where he was. The cashier said he looked lost in a way I've never seen before, like someone waking up from a dream they weren't supposed to have. When police arrived, the man calmly raised his hands and said only one sentence: "My name is David Carter. Is my family safe?" DNA testing confirmed it. It was him, the same David Carter who vanished in 2011. But there was something deeply wrong. David looked almost exactly the same as he did 12 years earlier. His facial hair hadn't changed. He had no visible signs of aging. Doctors were baffled. His organs and biological markers suggested he had been gone months, not over a decade. When detectives asked him where he had been, his answers were consistent every time. "I don't know what the place is called. I just call it the Gray Road." Over the next several days, David told investigators what he remembered. According to him, the family's SUV really did turn onto a service road that night, but as soon as they reached the end, a thick gray fog rolled in so fast it swallowed the car. He described it as freezing cold, like stepping into another season. When the fog cleared, the road behind them was gone. The forest had changed. The trees looked wrong, longer, darker, with branches curved unnaturally, as if they had grown in circles. The sky above had no stars. They tried to reverse, but the road stretched endlessly. No matter how long David drove, they never got back to the highway. Emma began crying. Jacob said he felt dizzy. Laura begged David to stop. Eventually, they saw a faint light through the trees, coming from a wooden house with a single lantern glowing in its window. They approached it for help. That's the last moment David remembers being with his family. He explains waking up inside the house, tied to a chair. He shouted for Laura, for the kids. No one answered. He tried breaking free, but every time he opened a door, he found himself in the same hallway, endlessly repeating like the house was rearranging itself around him. Time didn't behave normally. He said he didn't sleep, he didn't eat, he didn't feel hunger or thirst, only confusion. Some days passed slowly, others in an instant. He couldn't tell if he had been inside for hours or years. David claimed he occasionally heard footsteps behind the walls, breathing, whispering, sometimes a child's laugh, but he never once saw another person. When investigators asked how he escaped, David's answer was simple: "The house let me go." Police didn't believe any of it, until they searched the forest behind the gas station where he had emerged. Exactly 1.2 miles into the woods, they found a massive square clearing, perfectly shaped, as if a structure had once stood there. The surrounding trees were twisted, bent unnaturally outward, as though pushed back by something powerful. In the center of the clearing was a rusted lantern, the same lantern David had described from the house window. State investigators took the object, logged it, and sealed the case files. They have not released photographs, documents, or statements since. And David still refuses to talk to the media. He spends most days in a secure psychiatric facility, drawing the same image again and again: a long, twisted road stretching into a gray fog with 4 small figures standing at the edge of it: his wife, his children, and himself. But the silhouettes of his family fade piece by piece in every drawing. No trace of the family has ever been found, no vehicle, no remains, no clues. Just one man who returned, looking exactly the same as when he disappeared, claiming he spent 12 years trapped inside a house that doesn't exist on any map. A house that, according to him, is still out there, waiting for whoever follows the gray road next.